Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is John, and I've always come across code that is subpar, let's say. And I'm not saying I'm a great coder myself. However, there are some glaring issues when it comes to a lot of people's code. And I want to show you what not to do. Let's get started. So this project is coded in Java, and so it's using Android. So this person most likely coded in Android Studio. And so I'm quite familiar with that. So we can start with that. All I know is that it's a to-do app. So as we can see all these imports, which that's fine. Moving down, simple date calculator. Yep. Import static. Okay. Interesting. There's some issues right here. So from a security perspective, you always want to make your classes final. So that's what we're missing here. Second thing is, this is a listener for both on-date set listener and on-time set listener. Now, it depends on how you want to structure your project, but best practice, and what I would recommend, is to actually have these into two separate classes. Moving on to the variables, a private static final string tag. Yeah, very good. Private date m last edited. Okay, so as we can see, again, we have all these private variables. Now, the issue with this is that, let's say, all I would have to do to have access to this as a hacker or as an external third party is append serializable at the end, serialize this class, and now I have access to all of this data. It's pretty scary. So what we want to do is have final in there. Final, or we can say transient, just in case. So let's try to get a grip on what is actually happening here. So edit texts. Yeah, very good. Didn't clean up the code yet. Private string, combination text, that should be lowercase. Edit text, default text. And this is another issue that I have a lot of times. Oh, I see that my mic is clipping. I'll try to talk a little softer. So what these are, they're finals, and so they should always be grouped together. So that should actually go up at the top here with this one as well. Just makes your code a bit cleaner. So we have more variables, use color, private boolean, it's set to false. Well, a boolean is always going to be set to false, so that's redundant. You don't need that. Analytics application app. Now, I don't understand why it's not private. Moving on. So we have our first override, public void onViewCreated. So this is part of any Android application. You're always going to have a view creation. So this is what happens. So you have onViewCreated. Yep, that's boilerplate. App analytics application get activity.get application. So they're getting the analytics application class activity, I should say. Need references to these to change them during light dark mode. Okay, that's fair enough, but I'm curious as to why you're creating them here and not putting them up here with everything else. Yeah, so this is why I chose this class to look at, because if you look at what this method does. Ladies and gentlemen, do not do this. The rule of thumb is one method does one thing. So for example, this here would be one method. This, I'm assuming, will be one method. This here will be one method. Same as this. Same as this. Same as this. I think you get the picture. Now, why would you split it up into various methods? For simplicity's sake, let's say you want to test this. How do you test every single thing in here? You can't. It's impossible. So what you do is you have one method do one thing. That way, you can test each method and you get code coverage. Theme, get activity. So it's getting the theme. If the theme is a light theme, then set it accordingly and log it. Else, set it to the dark theme. There might be a better way to do this. I'm not quite sure of that though. Next, show an X in place of an arrow, final. Now, why are you using final here when you're not using finals up here? That actually, to be consistent, you always want to be consistent when you're coding. Put that up here. Get resources to get drawable. Yes. We are getting a clear white cross at 24 DP, which is fine. Null checks. Null checks are very good. Good job for that. +1. Cross set color filter. So it's just setting the color filter. Next, you're getting the toolbar. You're getting the activity from the app compact activity. And what is going on here? If app compact activity get activity, so it's casting to get activity, or app compact activity and then calling get activity, get support action bar doesn't equal null. Okay, so now we have another null check, which is great. However, since we're doing this action over and over and over again, this is a sign that we need to be more smarter about this. So what we can do is just take this, save it into a variable up here, and then call the variable down here. Because this, every time you do this, it takes up processing power for each call of this, and that's not good. Whereas if you set it to a variable, you only do this once, and now you're just taking memory. You're setting the elevation, you're doing all this, good, good. Don't see any other issues there. Okay, we're moving on. User to do item, get activity, get intent, main fragment to do item. Okay, you move on. You have more variables here. It looks like just reminder, reminder date. So just items for to display on the activity. So that seems to be fine. Clean up that, or put some comments there so I know what's going on. Reminder icon, image button, image button. Okay, very good, good. See, now you're dealing with the image button, and now you're going back to the dark theme. You're checking if the theme is dark. If it is, then you're rendering a different resource for the reminder icon. So once again, that should be in a different method. Button for copy to clipboard. So this seems to be pretty weighty. Again, another method. You're putting it into a button. Again, all this is pretty similar to what we've seen. Now, this is what I want to talk about here. On-click listener for a copy clipboard button. Anytime you have an on-click listener, put that into a separate class. That should not be handled here. This is lazy programming because look, now you have a method inside of a method. Yeah, you can do it if there's one or two items here that you need to do, but it's best if you separate this out. Get text.get string. Yeah, you always have to do that, which sucks. Clipboard manager, get activity. Very good. Okay. String concatenation. It is here that you waste resources because now you have, every time you append a string to a string, you have to create a new string in memory. So what you should do is replace this with a string builder. String builder only creates the text once. And then a toast at the end. There might be a better way to do that. I'm not quite sure yet. Here, that looks fine. Again, same issue. Anytime you're dealing with an on-click listener, put that as a separate method or a separate class. If the reminder and reminder date doesn't equal null, okay, that's good. Okay, you have two if statements here. You can have, you can't have else. Okay, that seems to be fine. Again, this is just an initial check. This seems quite weighty. Might want to check that out. Put it in a separate method, please. Another listener. See, this is what happens when you have listeners. Now you have three separate methods inside a new text watcher, which is inside another method. All these commented out code, either get rid of it or comment it to actually like explain and describe what it's for. Change listener. Yes. Okay. On click. So we're clicking on the to do send floating action button. If the body equals 0, you're going to send an error because there's nothing in the body of the string. Else if it's not null and it's before the new date, then you're going to do date in the past. Very good. Result canceled. Now that goes somewhere else. Do that. Results okay. Yeah, we just keep running into the same issues again and again. Oh yeah, by the way, there's multi-line comments here if you want. But I know that's a shortcut in a lot of IDEs. Just highlight it and then just do that and then you get all that. Okay, so I'm pretty sure you can have, since you're using this in multiple places, put that as a final at the very top. Set date, return. I'd figure out why we're returning something there. So yeah, I just wanted to bring this up to you guys. In a job, this would not fly at all. This was just a very simple code review. This is probably someone's first project. I mean, I've done all these mistakes as well, don't get me wrong. If you want to actually see clean, precise code, I might do another video on that and just like, okay, this is what you should be doing. Anyways, take care. Bye.